Hi, it's Montessori Monday. I'm Katie Padiak, and I break down each Monday one element of Montessori philosophy so you can better understand what it means, how it applies to your child, and how you can use this to guide yourself as you help guide your child in your home. So this week we're talking about following the child. And if you have any understanding of Montessori in any way, I'm sure you've heard this phrase. And I want to talk about it because I think it's often misinterpreted. So Montessori, the human, was a very gifted observer. She was a scientist and a doctor. And as she observed children, she followed the child. She saw what they were communicating, what they needed through their behavior and the way they interacted in the environment. And then she provided materials for them that matched the needs of what they were interested in. So in a Montessori classroom, you'll find these principles still employed today. So there are many materials, and there is a guide for how and when to introduce these items to the child. But when you follow the individual child, you see what they're drawn to and what types of things that they're interested in or needs that they have that they're seeking to meet in the space. So for Montessori guides, you are observing and following each individual and providing materials for them to fulfill these needs. So how does that work at home? I think this is where the misconception comes in. Following the child does not mean, well, he really wants to do this thing, like pull all of the toilet paper off of the toilet paper roll. So I'm following the child, I'm just gonna let him do it because that's what he needs. And that's not true. We're not following the child to a dangerous situation. We're not following the child to a destructive situation. You are following and observing and seeing what they need. And in that moment, you can stop them and provide something else that fulfills that need or desire. There are certain things we can allow and just kind of watch where it goes. But in our home, we still need to set boundaries. There are limits to what our child is able to do, and we can still follow them and help them meet those needs. So let's take, for example, your child is drawing all over your walls. You don't allow that. That's just not something that is appropriate. It's not socially appropriate. You don't want them going to school and writing on the walls. So you need to stop that behavior. But you can, as you're speaking to your child, remind them you draw on paper. And you can go out and get a big roll of butcher paper and tape it on your wall, because maybe the need is that they need really big movement as they're drawing and making circles or preparing for writing. You don't know what the needs are that they have. And you don't need to know that, but you need to see, he really wants this thing. He cannot do it on the wall. What can I do to fulfill this need in him? And how can I allow for this need to be met in an appropriate way? So following the child can go from a range of something huge like that, or emotionally, if your child is really snuggly more than normal or communicating to you that they want to spend more time with you, you can understand that maybe your child is going through something and needs a little bit more connection and attention. So following your child can be really small things or really big picture things, but in any situation, you're following your child just a way to understand what they need and help provide that in your environment so that they can have what they need.